Hello, hello. Well, it's the time of the week again. Women Wednesday. I promise I try to start making this a thing, so we're gonna make it a thing. Now, I'm gonna be a little distracted tonight only because I have some foot pain. Okay, so good news is I've been trying to exercise a lot more. Bad news is my body is not keeping up with it. It is not keeping up with it. So my feet are actually in like a lot of pain right now. So I've been kind of having to like get up and like go run them underwater here and there. So if I have to like take a few frequent breaks tonight or step away a lot, you know how it is. You know how it is. But that's okay because I did want to continue Women Wednesday. This is at least while we're playing Heart of the Woods, this is going to be the new tradition. And I actually did want to stream a little bit more this week, but there's a lot going on because there's a couple of model debuts happening this week that I want to watch instead. Also, a couple people who haven't streamed in a while are going to be streaming, and I want to be able to catch their streams, but they start earlier than I do, so can't guarantee I'll be able to stream and then raid into them. You know how it is. You know how it is. But either way, we're here tonight, and tonight is Women Wednesday. Women's Wednesday. Women's Day. I don't know. I'll find some way to make it roll off the tongue. I don't even call it Women Wednesday because I know a bunch of other people who call it Women Wednesday, so. But. That's enough yapping from me. We got a game. We got a story to get through. I wake up with a headache, and I know that something's wrong. I'm alone. Abigail must have disentangled herself from my arms at some point, leaving me on my own. I get up and pace around the church, not seeing her. After a bit, I find her outside its doors.
Good morning.
Good morning, my love.
Her lips smile, but her eyes don't. It's a look I'm pretty familiar with by now. I slip an arm around her as I take a spot by her side.
Sleep okay?
Well enough. I'm sure all of my nights will be better now that they're spent beside you.
I can't help it. I kiss her on the cheek and true joy brightens her face.
How about you?
Pretty good. I woke up with, a bad feeling, though.
A bad feeling? About what?
I'm not sure. My head kinda hurts, so maybe that's it? Actually, now that I think about it, this is the first actual pain I've felt since turning.
Turning makes it sound like you're a vampire, Maddie. Don't say that. It's not the worst headache I've ever had. Not by far. But it's enough to be annoying. It feels the same as being dehydrated or having a slight cold.
Aw, poor dear.
She stands on her tiptoes to kiss my forehead.
I felt the same, actually. I had hoped that stepping outside might help, but it seems not.
She rubs her temples, and I notice just how ragged her eyes look.
How long have you been out here?
A while. Perhaps an hour or so. I was afraid I'd wake you.
Nah, I slept right through. It's not just a coincidence that we both feel sick, is it?
Abigail purses her lips. Her brief silence is enough confirmation.
No, I doubt it is. It must be something to do with the forest.
The trees before us sway in the breeze. To me, they look the same as ever. No traces of lingering sickness or
You
pain.
felt bad the other day, too. When we first met the fairies? Was it the same thing then?
Most likely. Changes in the air. Something's happening. And it isn't good.
I think of the fairies, fleeing some unseen terror.
Is it Evelyn?
I have expected her to shake her head. I want her to say no, but she nods.
I think so. I don't know what she's done or why. But this can't all be coincidence.
I nod, my thoughts turning to Tara and Morgan. I wish they would just get out of here. Leave me to my fate and escape. Let Evelyn do whatever it is she's doing while they're across the ocean safe. I know that won't happen, though. Tara's not the type to back down from a fight. Except this time, I know she's hugely outmatched, even with Morgan's help.
What about the forest spirit? You said it's a guardian of the woods, right? Why doesn't it stop her?
I'm sure it's doing what it can, but it's just as intimately connected to the forest as the fairies are. Far more than you or I. So as the forest itself weakens, so does it.
Worry creases her brow.
Is there any way we can help?
Not that I know of.
I can tell she's not really happy with that answer.
Maybe we can think of something together. There has to be something we can do.
Yes, perhaps.
She looks up at me adoringly.
I feel like I can accomplish anything with you by my side.
Her loving words are nearly enough to counteract the worry I feel.
We've already beaten death. There's no way Evelyn can stop us. At least not a second time.
First, we just have to figure out how. Abigail slips her hand to mine where it fits comfortably.
Perhaps you'll make an optimist out of me yet, Medicine. Shall we go for a walk?
Absolutely.
I'm glad their changing relationship hasn't changed our routine. The walks around the forest keep me grounded. They're enjoyable, but also a solemn reminder of how trapped we are here. My dream of finding a way out hasn't disappeared or diminished at all. It's just evolved to include Abigail, too. There's no way I'm leaving these woods without her. We chat idly as we stroll, enjoying the newfound comfort and intimacy that comes from being lovers rather than just friends. The pain in my head is still there, and I'm sure Abigail still suffers from hers as well. But it's easy enough to ignore in lieu of the pleasure that simply being together brings. We've reached the edge of the fairy clearing where we always seem to end up. Abigail's glued to my side. I wouldn't have it any other way.
We're probably a little bit early to meet Alma, although they sometimes come by at this time. This grove is one of the easier places for the animals to come drink during winter, so it attracts all kinds of wildlife.
Yeah, I've noticed all kinds of tracks in the snow leading around here.
She nods, pleased. But then we enter the grove itself, and my blood runs cold. Just ahead, lying prone on the frozen ground, is a fawn that I just know is Alma. It's clearly dying, if not already dead. With a shriek, Abigail drops my hand.
No!
I can feel her anguish cut through me like a knife, visceral and burning. Dashing over, hands outstretched, she falls to her knees and presses a tender hand against his snout. A small motion confirms that's alive, if just barely. It leans into her, either in fear or in recognition, eyes wild.
No! What's happening to you?
I move closer as well, though not so close as to crowd them, and what I witness makes my stomach churn. Gaping wounds perforate the poor thing's body, staining the ground red with blood. They look like knife wounds or bite marks, but there's no visible damage or puncture. It's more like its body simply opened up. Abigail flails her hands, clearly wanting to help, but afraid to touch and cause it more pain. She turns to me teary-eyed.
Medicine! What do I do?
I don't know what to do. I don't even know where to start. I kneel down beside Abigail. The lacerations covering Alma's body are clean and even, but varying in size. Some are minute, so small as to be nearly invisible. The largest is a gash that runs the length of her torso.
How does this even happen?
Through choking sobs, Abigail manages to answer.
magic. These are not normal injuries. It's the forest. The forest is sicker than I thought. And all of its children are hurting for it too.
So we get headaches while Alma gets this. I shudder. Is it random? Could it have just as easily been one of us lying here bleeding out? Maybe our ghostliness is more of a blessing than I thought in this case. Though without it, we wouldn't be affected by the forest's illness at all. Leaning over, I gently stroke the deer's head. Its breathing is restless and agonized, but it seems to register my presence. My thumb brushes against a wound that I didn't notice, and I jerk my hand back while Alma groans in pain.
I'm sorry!
The deer's blood is viscous, unnaturally so, and slick like motor oil. It sticks to my fingers, stretching and webbing. It's neither warm nor cold. It's unnervingly neutral. I try to rub it off in the snow, but my fingers pass through the ice and dirt, of course. My hand trembles with the disgusting feeling that I'll never be clean again. Abigail is still beside herself, wringing her hands impotently. There's nothing that either of us can do. Just sit there and wait as Alma passes away in agony. But then, a tremor reverberates through the clearing. The ground shakes and snow is out from the branches. Fairy bubbles dance up and down. Abigail and I both face the forest in the direction of the sound, already knowing what's coming. The forest spirit strides into view, and as tall as the trees, but no taller. It brushes past trees with no notice of the branches and snow that disturbs. As it draws into the clearing, it acknowledges us with a level gaze. It's been a while since Abigail and I have been by to see it. The deer looks up at the forest spirit with pained recognition, its eyes wide and breathing shallow with pathetic relief. Abigail looks up at it too, tearfully, clearly glad to see it. The spirit looms closer. Its great presence alone seemed to revitalize the air around us. My headache vanishes in an instant. The spirit stretches out one immense finger, drawing from head to tail across the deer's mangled body. The two lock eyes as the spirit retracts his hand. It curls the fingers inward, calling Alma to it. In one moment, the deer's eyes roll backwards as life exits its body. At the same time, its spectral form, ephemeral and perfect, rises from its corpse. Boundless as in life, it gives us one last glance, and then it springs across the fallen snow before vanishing into thin air, gone to join some spectral herd somewhere. Abby wipes her eyes of tears and stands. She moves to the spirit's side and gently pats it.
Thank you. I'm glad you came.
The spirit's shoulders sag, its branches hang low and still despite the slight breeze. I notice what looks like burn marks on its hide, where part of its wood skin is blackened and dark. Without a doubt, it's Evelyn's doing as well. I'm reminded of an old man putting a child to rest. Sorrow and surely pain as well weigh heavily on it. I wonder how it knew to come. Did it feel Alma's pain? Or perhaps Abigail's? Bearing the emotional weight of an entire ecosystem, my heart aches for the spirit as well as for Abigail, who seems forever hurt by her powerlessness. The spirit and I meet eyes again, and I bow my head in reverence. I don't know it well enough to speak to it like Abigail, but for Alma's sake, I'm also glad it's here. It scoops down and picks up the deer's corpse. Blood now runs freely from the injuries, somehow not clotting, and I have to look away. Without a second thought for us, the spirit turns and leaves once more, going back the way it came. Abigail and I watch it go. In all, the encounter couldn't have lasted more than a minute or two. Long after the last of its footfalls have faded away, Abigail and I sit in silence. I hold her close until finally we return to the church. The rest of the day passes quietly, the earlier euphoria of our relationship being overshadowed by the fear of the shifting forest. Though Abigail is never more than an arm's reach away from me, and usually closer, she's nearly silent. Our headaches return not longer after leaving the fairy clearing, stronger than before. Now some combination of pain and sorrow keeps us both quiet. At some point, I reach for her hand out of habit. And that's when it happens. My hand passes right through hers as if she isn't even there.
Abigail!
I say the first thing that comes to mind. With a fright, she leaps up, searching around for the source of my panic. Seems she didn't even feel it.
Look!
I reach for her hand, and once again it passes right through. Just like when we first met, before we could even speak with each other. She understands instantly.
Oh no. Oh no, no.
What's happening? Are you okay? Do you feel any different?
I don't know enough about magic to even start to guess why this might be happening to her.
Should we take you to the forest spirit? Or get you some rest? Or...
Madison, it's not me.
What?
It's you.
I look down at myself. Sure enough, my whole body is slightly transparent. I can see the floor of the church through myself. Vertigo hits me and I stumble. Abigail lurches forward to catch me, but of course she isn't able to. Dread fills my heart. Please no. Not again.
What do I do?
I slap my hand. A pathetically ridiculous action. I can't even feel it. My own hand goes right through me. Shaky, Abigail stands up, holding her head.
Something's happening to the forest. This must all be connected somehow. It's simply impossible otherwise.
What could Evelyn be doing?
I know that she has to be involved. I don't even have to ask.
I have no idea. Nor do I know why she's choosing now of all times to do it.
Do you think the forest spirit can help us?
The forest spirit is all I can think of. The only ally that we have. At least it's a powerful one. Abigail looks away. I'm sure the spirit was her first thought too.
Perhaps. We can try.
Wordlessly, she heads out of the church and I follow behind her. The happiness and joy that we shared so recently has evaporated entirely. I wish that life, whatever form it takes for us, could just slow down. That we could have more than a moment to rest. But I know that that's impossible while Evelyn is still out there. And I know that one way or another, we're going to have to be the ones to deal with her. But what I don't know is if we even have a chance.
Do you know what's going on? Has something like this happened to you before?
It hasn't. This is the first I've seen of it. But I think I know. I think that the forest is having trouble keeping you here. The magic is getting weaker too.
So does that mean that...
I leave the implication unspoken. Abigail halts in her tracks, facing me with a fiery determination.
No, I won't let anything bad happen to you. Not again. I promise, Madison.
I don't know if she has the power to keep that promise, but I can only hope so.
Okay, I trust you.
I really do. Believing in Abigail is my only option, but even if it weren't, it's like she said, together we can get through anything. I try to think of what it would mean if I'm wrong. I'm not even totally sure myself. Would I just cease to exist? Go on to an afterlife? Something else? None of the options are especially appealing, and I know that dwelling on them will only make me feel worse. So I just focus on the here and now and on sticking close to Abigail. Even I can tell that she's right when she says the whole forest is affected. Aside from the harsh winds, everything else feels subdued somehow. The trees don't seem to stand as tall, and the leaves and needles look dull, even by wintry standards. What little sunlight there is feels dreary, rather than bright. A light snow falls from the sky, but the heavy clouds overhead promise more, and soon. It occurs to me that we've been walking longer than we normally have to. Instead of changing the forest path to get us there quickly, we're following the regular route through the trees.
Hey, why aren't we taking a shortcut through the forest? Is it too sick to let us do that?
Wringing her hands, Abigail looks away.
It's more that I'm afraid to try. If I push myself too hard, then...
She believes the consequences unspoken. I can't imagine what they might be. The same as what's happening to me, or worse. Whatever exactly that is.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. It's okay. Take as much time as you need.
It's been so long since I visited the spirit. Our brief moment in the grove with Alma was the first time in days. I wonder if it's missed me.
Of course it has. Who wouldn't?
You're far too sweet, Madison.
She nuzzles her head against me. The angle is a little awkward since we're still walking, but it's nice. But then she jerks away like she was stung.
Oh, you're back!
Back?
Her hand envelops mine, smooth and soft like always, rather than passing through me.
Oh!
Just because she can, she leans forward and gives me a quick peck on the lips.
I was so worried.
Me too.
I rub my arms and sides, making sure that I'm all there. Everything seems to be in order.
Hopefully it's permanent.
Indeed. It's not too much farther to the spirit either. We should hurry.
Sweat makes her brow glisten a little. She's definitely still feeling strained, even though I can tell she's trying to hide it.
Don't push yourself too hard, sweetie.
I won't.
Still, despite her words, the longer we walk, the more visible a toll it seems to take on her. Her steps slow down even though she wanted to hurry, and her breathing sounds labored.
Are you sure you're alright?
I'm fine. It's just...
Rubbing her eyes, she shakes her head. Right then, a pile of snow hits the ground a few feet away from us. Looking up, I spot a tree drooping, its boughs angled down as if bent.
It's the forest again. Not me alone.
She voices what I already knew.
Something terrible must have happened for it to be this way.
Since I'm unable to feel the forest like she can, all I can do is watch and worry.
Just now? Or at least today?
Maybe. Or we may only now be feeling the effects. I'm not sure.
I can tell by the frustration in her voice that she's nearly as in the dark about all of this as I am. I have to remind myself that what she knows, she only picked up by intuition and years of observation. I'm fortunate to have a guide as knowledgeable as she is about her situation, even if she doesn't know everything. I know we're getting close to the grove of ancestral trees, from the change in the air and the way that the trees are larger than before. That profound sense of being watched and of primal energy is still present, but even that feels mellower. Or maybe strained. For everything, there's also the acrid smell of smoke. Suddenly, Abigail lets out a yelp of horror and dashes forward.
Abigail!
I follow, right on her heels.
Oh no!
It doesn't take long to discover what she found. Where once there was a mighty tree, all that remains is a blistered and charred husk, blackened by flames. A painful buzzing penetrates my head, nearly unbearable, and all I can do is watch in horror as a foreign sorrow emanates. Even I can tell that this is the forest crying out. Here at the locus of its pain, even I'm affected. I can't imagine how Abigail must feel. Her fingers run across the damaged wood as if searching for a sign of life. I remember that this isn't just another part of the forest. This is its heart, its very soul. And for so long, it was also her home.
How did I not know? I've been so happy these few days that I must have blinded myself to the pain of the forest.
From behind, I wrapped my arms around her, pressed my face against her shoulder.
I'm sorry. It's not your fault, though. Even if you knew, you couldn't have changed it.
Honestly, kind of impressed that fire is still burning several days later, though.
If anything, we were lucky. Those few days.
She clings to me, pinning my arms into an even tighter embrace. As I feel her cry against me, my own uselessness feels like more of a curse than death ever was. And I wish there was some magic word or spell that I could use to make things better. But all I can do is hug her tightly and warmly, and hope that I'm as much of a reinsurance for her as she is for me. Then, without warning, I once again see my arms go transparent, and the feeling of Abigail against me disappears. Although this time it's not as big of a shock, it's still a reminder that we don't have long to wait. Abigail notices and steadies herself alone.
Let's keep going. The spirit must be around here too.
Why doesn't it stop Evelyn? Isn't that its job as guardian?
It probably can't. I'm sure it wants to, but it relies on the forest for strength. So if the forest is weak, then it must be too. In fact, that may be Evelyn's intention.
The sinking feeling in my stomach intensifies. If she's even stronger than the forest spirit, then what hope do we have? I don't voice that fear, though. I'm sure Abigail's already worried about the same thing. It is much longer before we encounter the spirit. At first, we almost miss it. The forest spirit stands idle in a clearing as if lost in thought. It barely seems to notice us when we approach. A slight tilt of its head is the only acknowledgement we get. It's small. Smaller than I've seen it before. It's barely as tall as I am. The lights in its eyes, usually bright and terrifying, have gone dim. It was more like the wounded deer from the clearing the other day than the being who helped it pass on. Oh, I noticed the bird nest is gone too. Just like the trees it protects, its branches sag and are bare. A few have jagged ends as if something snapped them off. None of the wildlife that usually accompany it is around. Instead, it seems alone and abandoned. Though it has been long since we saw it last, it looks significantly pained. I wonder if its salvation of Alma was taxing on it. Abigail cries out again, just like when we came across the burned tree. As anguished as she sounded then, this time it's even worse. I hang back as she runs to its side, not wanting to intrude on a private moment. She places a hand on its leg, crooning something that I can't make out. Though the spirit tilts its head a little bit more to face her, the motion is stilted and janky. As exhausted and sick as Abigail seems, the forest spirit seems to have it 10 times worse. It makes a mournful sound, a deep and sonorous hum. It seems to echo and reverberate off the trees around us. Though I can't understand it like Abigail can, the pain and suffering in its tone is obvious. Abigail presses a cheek against it, patting the creature gently, in the same way she sometimes comforts me. I look down at myself, shimmery and transparent, and I'm pretty sure we won't be gaining assistance from the spirit. A wave of nausea hits me as I ponder just what that means. I don't have any backup plans. If Abigail does, she didn't mention them. It is my only choice to just stay like this and hope my condition doesn't get any worse. Ever since I came here to the forest, it's felt like I haven't had any control over my fate, and I can't help but worry this will be the final nail in the coffin. Perhaps literally. I fidget, adjust my scarf and hood and glasses countless times. Abigail remains close to the spirit, pacing slow circles around it as she talks to it slowly. I wonder what she's saying. Sometimes the spirit will hum or make a gesture that could be a nod. All the while, I keep my respectful distance. At some point, I realize that it's snowing. I don't know how long it's been going on. As some of the snow settles on the spirit's broad shoulders, it doesn't look festive or pretty. It just looks pitiful. The spirit sags, bearing the weight of the world. I'm not sure how long I wait, but I don't rush Abigail at all. This could be the last opportunity she has to speak with the forest spirit, judging by his condition. I'm sure she's thinking the same thing. I flip between solid and intangible so many times that I stop keeping track. I just watch the two of them. Finally, Abigail pulls herself away from the spirit. She approaches me, looking like she wants to say something but doesn't. Her eyes say it all, though. I try to hug her, but she softly shakes her head and instead escorts me away, back into the woods. Though she never looks back, I do but just once. The spirit's lonely eyes watch us go. Heavy snow batters us while we wait. Though of course its chill doesn't reach us, our visibility is effectively zero. Too weak to even alter the path of the forest, Abigail clings to my side, trusts me to lead us back to the church. Although I maintain a brave face, I'm not fully confident in my ability to get us there. The blizzard calls to mind memories of the day I died, although I don't let myself dwell on them. I'm not alone this time, and I have someone more to live for. Our journey is strenuous, and we move at glacial pace, but it's the fastest that Abigail can manage. Her steps are heavy and slow, and as much as I want to urge her along, I know that I can't. I'm glad she's watching the ground and her feet rather than me, so that she doesn't have to worry on my face. Every time I start to think that I've got this whole ghost thing figured out, something new arises to complicate it all over again. And this time I don't even have Abigail's experience to guide me. What happens if she loses the ability to walk altogether? Or to speak? What happens if the magic that keeps me here runs out? The occasional flickering in my body makes it a very real concern right now. I hold tightly to her hand, the only anchor of comfort and security right now. But even that has grown clammy and cold. Swallowing a lump in my throat, we march on. Trees bound in the wind, trying to turn their backs against it. For the first time that I can remember, there aren't any woodland creatures out and about. No mice or rabbits or chirping birds. Not even a panicked deer phasing in and out of existence like me. It may as well just be me and her and no one else in the universe.
Come on, I'm sure we're almost there. It can't be much further.
God, this is so much talking. I say the words for my own sake as much as for hers. Though in truth, I have no idea if I'm right or not. For all I know, we could be heading the totally opposite direction of the church. Even then, once we arrive at the church, I'm not sure what to do. Will she get better with time to rest? Will I? Right now, the church is just a goal. It gives us something tangible to work towards. Something to keep our feet moving, slowly or not.
I'm sure you're right.
Her voice is barely a murmur. I can only hope that she's saving her energy on purpose. I'm afraid to ask. I wonder how much of what's happening is by the mayor's design. While everything stems from her, it's impossible to know how much was deliberate and how much was simply a ripple effect from what she's done. I wonder if she even considers us a threat or gives us any thought at all. And if she doesn't, then maybe we can use that against her. Of course, we have to reach a point where we can do that. During a momentary lapse in blizzard, I'm able to make out a welcome sight in the haze. A warped and curled tree that I distinctly remember from an earlier trip.
Look, you recognize that tree too, right? I'm pretty sure you were the one who showed it to me the first time. We're almost home.
Abigail nods weakly, though she doesn't say anything. I squeeze her hand, trying to impart some strength into her. It kills me to see her like this, and I'd give anything to be able to help her.
Almost there, you've got this.
She nods again, unable to do or say more. Except she doesn't stop nodding like a bobblehead. I tug her along, trying to lead her the rest of the short way, but she's rude to the spot.
Listen.
And then she collapses, and the world goes black. I jolt and choke on nothing as I gasp for a breath that I don't actually need. Abigail has fallen to her knees. I didn't feel her hand slip out of mine. I try to take the half step, cross a few... But a moment later it's black. Oh no. It takes me a moment to understand, and I immediately wish that I hadn't. Oh my god. I just stopped existing for a second. Profound dread grips my heart. Looking down at myself, once again I can see right through my hand and arm to the snow accumulating beneath us. Not good. This is extremely not good. I collapse to the ground beside Abigail, but at least of my own accord. I try to shake her by the shoulder, but it takes several tries before I can maintain form long enough to even touch her.
I'm sorry, Medicine. I just need a little break.
With visible effort, she turns to look at me. I don't think she even realizes what's happening. But then I phase into non-existence for another moment, and when I come back, horror is clearly etched onto her face. Finding some hidden reserve of strength, she lunges towards me and grabs my hand. Immediately, everything goes back to normal.
Madison, are you okay? Can you hear me?
I'm fine now.
I hold her hands a bit tighter to reaffirm it.
Are you okay though?
I'm just a little tired, is all.
She forces herself up again, looking more than a little tired. Immediately, she sways, nearly falls, but I catch her and steady her. She leans into me and I pull her into a hug.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Gently, I stroke her hair. In truth, I'm terrified, but I don't want her to see that. It'd only make things worse. I guide Abigail over to a fallen tree where we can sit down, indifferent to the blizzard. Even though the church is much further, I don't want to push her too much right now. I wrap one arm around her as we sit and I hold her close.
Where can we go for help? Maybe if the forest spirit sees how rough it is for us.
But she shakes her head.
Believe me, it would if it could. But I fear that it's even weaker than I am right now. It's much more in tune with the forest than me, so it's suffering the effects even more strongly.
All of this because Evelyn killed one tree?
It wasn't just any tree. It was one of the ancestral trees. The oldest one. They're the heart of the forest. All of its strength comes from them.
I can't pretend to understand their importance, but I know that Abigail isn't exaggerating. Not at a time like this.
So what do we do? There has to be some sort of solution, right? Can we plant another tree or something?
Even as I say it, I know the idea is ridiculous. We don't exactly have the centuries it would take for a new tree to grow up as big and strong as one that was killed.
The forest spirit is supposed to become the next one. All of the ancestral trees were once spirits like the one you've met.
What's stopping it? The mayor?
Her hand clenches around my shoulder where she was holding on tightly.
That's right. I hadn't even realized.
Realized what?
Groaning, Abigail sits up straight. So long as we're close like this, it seems like I'm able to maintain my physical form.
This spirit can't pass on its own. It needs the help of the Fairy Queen. That's one of her duties to the forest.
But there's no Fairy Queen right now.
Yes, which means that there's no one to complete the ritual.
The rest goes unspoken as we both come to the same realization. An awful one.
Madison.
I know. There aren't any other options, are there?
None that I know of.
I close my eyes and take a deep breath, heading off the wave of fear that I know is coming.
I'm sorry, again.
It's okay. You don't need to apologize. Really.
But...
Taking both her hands in my own, I turn to face her. Understanding, her eyes close halfway as her lips part to meet mine. Part of me wishes I could spend an eternity like this, together, warm with the woman I love. But even that isn't an option anymore. Our kiss ends far too quickly, although I'm not sure it could have ever been enough. When we part, there are tears in Abigail's face. I'm not sure if they're mine or hers.
It'll be okay somehow. I know it.
I'll be with you, no matter what.
I know. Thank you. Seriously. I couldn't do this without you.
I love you.
I love you too.
As one, we turn and face the forest again, putting the church behind us. Resign myself to what comes next, I point in the direction of we need to go.
Let's go visit the fairies. I'm sure they're still looking for a new queen.
Oh, flashbang. Once again, we reach the grove where the fairies rest. It occurs to me that is the only part that seems unaffected by the forest sickness. The trees are just as vibrant as ever, and the pond just as crystal clear. We stumble into the middle, near the shore of the pond. Abigail takes several woozy steps, and I hold her shoulder to keep her steady. Then I flick her, and she starts to fall, barely managing to keep her balance. Forget days or even hours to find another solution. We might not even have minutes.
Hello?
I call out, a bit surprised that none of the fairies have come to greet us. I watch the trees and listen for the buzz and flutter of wings, but it remains silent and still.
Hello? Fairies!
It feels a little absurd and on the nose, but I don't know what else to say. There's no response.
Please, we need your help!
I might as well be shouting into the void. There's not even a single rustle. I notice that the birds who used to nest in the bushes seem to have abandoned this place. Tendrils of fear creep through me. Both the fairies are gone too.
Madison.
I turn towards Abigail, but she's not even looking at me.
Madison.
She just murmurs my name over and over. I steel myself and face forward. For her.
If you can help us, I'll find you a queen. Even if it has to be me.
My voice sounds stronger than I feel. There's no reaction. My heart pounds, feeling like it's going to burst out of my chest. Seconds pass. Nothing. Beside me, Abigail has fallen silent, swaying on her feet, but looking as if she might collapse. All of her trust and hope has been placed in me. I can't let her down. I won't let her down. Just as I gather breath to yell out again, I start to hear a faint buzzing sound deep in the trees. Something flickers, far away, but getting closer. I realize that it's many somethings. Tiny lights spark to life, woven throughout and across the trees like Christmas lights. Those and the growing bloods buzzing herald the arrival of the fairies. They burst from trees as a swarm, nearly enough to darken the sky overhead. Like before, 3 break apart from the rest and swoop towards us. I recognize them as the 3 I spoke to before. The ones I named Hay, Anon, and Frio.
You're back! To be queen? We've been waiting.
They watch inquisitively while the rest of the swarm hover overhead. It isn't what I want. I still barely know what being a queen would entail, much less a fairy queen. All I have is one short vision. But it's not like I have time to research or to learn. There's not time for anything else. It's this or disappear forever and leave Abigail to whatever fate she's suffering. Of course, that's not an option I'm even willing to consider. I put on the sternest face I can and lock eyes with a fairy in the middle.
Only if you can help us.
Wordlessly, the 3 fairies start forward, inspecting Abigail and me. They communicate silently with each other, leaving me to wonder what they're saying and thinking. A minute later, they return to their position in front of my face.
Name your terms. But are you sure? We think we know.
If you make us human again, and stop whatever it is that's happening to us, then I'll make sure you have a queen. Whether it's me or someone else.
A queen! Who else could it be? We've spent so long looking. There's not much time left! For you or for us!
Wait, what do you mean? What are you running out of time for?
She'll make her move! Haven't you seen? The Moonsick one.
Moonsick. There's that word again.
Moonsick one. You mean Evelyn?
Evelyn. A human name. It must be her.
I don't fully follow, but there's no one else I could be referring to. There's so much that I want to ask, but can't right now.
How long do we have?
Until the moon is at its brightest. That's when she's strongest. Will you be ready then?
I'll have to be.
I haven't been paying much attention to the moon, but I know that it can't be more than a week until it's full. Probably less. I really wish I had Tara's stupid shirts to use as a reference right now. Tara. In all of this, I haven't even really been considering that by becoming human again, not just a ghost, I'll be able to see her. And that's at least one big upside, although I don't know where we'll even begin catching up. Still, that's something else to be figured out later. Facing the fairies, I nod.
Okay.
We can start preparing. Are you ready? It won't take long.
Yeah. I just need a moment to get ready too.
The fairies slid off and me joined the rest of their kind, not bothering to respond. That's fine by me. I turned back to Abigail, who's been silent throughout this entire thing. At first I thought maybe she'd passed out, but instead she's watching me with anxious eyes.
Madison, are you sure?
Softly she leans against me. Well, she kind of falls.
Yes. I'm sure.
The fairies have all gathered near the pond, close to one of the trees. They watch us intently, weighing the chance of any private moment. I kiss Abigail's cheek and feel her nuzzle against me for just a moment.
I love you, Madison.
She says it with more strength than she's been able to muster so far.
I love you too.
We look into each other's eyes for one last moment. Then I turn and stride towards the fairies. I don't let myself look down. I don't let my hands shake. I keep my steps measured and even. I only glance back once to where Abigail is watching me. Then Frio, and Anon descend once more. Frio loosely grips a crown of woven leaves and flowers, as out of season as the rest of this grove. I wouldn't say that doesn't feel real, but to tell the truth, it's been a while since anything has.
Is it time? We hope it is.
just put this on.
That's it. All I have to do is put on the crown?
That's all for you. Is that too much? We'll do the rest.
Okay. Frio hands me the crown.
Oh.
I let it rest on my palms. It's light, barely noticeable. The flowers are all woven together so deftly that I have to wonder if it was made by magic. It's also slightly warm, like it had just been sitting in the sun for a while. I swallow the lump in my throat. This is what's best for everyone. Not just for me or Abigail, but for the whole forest. With one swift motion, I reach up and place the crown on my head. It fits perfectly, as if it was made for me. I wonder if it was. The moment it touches my hair, the fairies start to move. They chatter out loud, but there are so many of them speaking that it's impossible to hear what they're saying. I don't even know if they're human words. Altogether, they sound like a forest of rustling leaves. I shut my eyes as I feel a tingling sensation. It starts at the top of my head and slowly works its way through me. It's not uncomfortable at all, but it also isn't anything ignorable. Something soft brushes against my face and hands. It feels like snow, but isn't cold. And when it melts away, there's no trace of wetness left behind. An invisible force feels like it's tugging me in every direction at once, but I stay rooted to the spot. A light scent of pine fills my nose. Somehow, it's nostalgic. I open my eyes, still in the middle of my metamorphosis. Warmth spreads through my body like a hot cup of coffee, and with it comes understanding of the forest and how I'm a part of it. I'm acutely aware of its existence, tuned to its precise frequency. I imagine this must be what Abigail meant by being connected. Memories that aren't mine start to run through my head. A movie that I can't shut off. Visions of trees sprouting from the earth and growing skyward, and of clouds forming and then falling apart. Each denizen of the forest, every tree, every deer, even the forest spirit itself, come to mind at once, feeling like old friends I haven't seen in a while. None of it feels new. It's not intrusive or foreign. Rather, this knowledge feels like something that's always been there, but without my awareness. Or maybe something I'd forgotten. It's comfortable. And still the fairies dance overhead, their rustling chants even louder as they perform their ritual. I wonder if all fairy queens are inaugurated this way. And at the same moment I wonder, I know instinctively that they aren't. Visions of a beautiful woman whom I immediately recognize as the missing fairy queen come to mind. And with her comes a longing, a feeling of something missing. Then as my thoughts turn, the vision and the longing are gone too. I can feel the rustle of cloth against my skin as even my clothes acknowledge the changes, taking on a life and form of their own. They lengthen and stretch and puff out, becoming a dress more elaborate and beautiful than anything I've ever worn before. Living, breathing flowers bloom from its hem right before my eyes, matching the crown on my head. I feel the magic work its way through, over, and around me, enveloping tightly. And then, as the ceremony comes close to an end, I start to feel it drain out of me. It seeps down and out, and back into the earth and air, returning to the forest that lent me its strength and trust to take on this role. As I heave a deep breath, the enormity of the responsibility that's been placed on me feels heavy, but not unbearably so. If anything, I'm reassured by the competence and power that I can simply feel that I have. I'm not invincible. I know that much. But for the first time in ages, I feel like I'm in control. I stumble, just a little bit, as my feet touch the ground that I never knew I'd left. The instant that I do, the last of the shifting magic leaves me, although I can still feel it as part of the forest. Without anyone saying anything, without any confirmation, I simply know. It's done. I've become the Fairy Queen.
Oh, that's cute, but oh. I was also a little scared it was going to jump perspective for a moment, because it's like, okay, we gotta know, though. We gotta see what happens next. What does this mean? I gotta know the significance of this. I was about to be so upset, but I'm glad we're not changing perspective. My first steps as Fairy Queen are shaky. At any moment, it feels like my legs might give out from under me. Yeah, oh, that is a pretty dress. Yet at the same time, I feel a strange sort of confidence and inner strength. I don't know if magic literally courses through my veins or not, but it feels that way. My next few steps as Fairy Queen are easier. I keep my gaze fixed on Abigail as I make my way towards her. She waits impatiently, concern clearly etched on her face. The fairies buzz agitatedly over my head, darting and dashing in pointless patterns. Though they don't vocalize anything, I can hear their voices clearly in my head.
Our queen! Welcome home. How does it feel?
I acknowledge their words, and at the same time, I can feel myself be acknowledged. It comes as naturally as breathing. I promise I'll get to them in a moment.
Madison, are you alright?
She clings to my side, her slender arms tight around me. Though I'm not shaking anymore, her presence is still infinitely reassuring. I press my lips to her head and we sway gently back and forth. I can feel her too as a part of the forest. Her presence is as warm and comforting in my head as in my arms.
I'm fine. I'm totally fine.
She makes a sound that I think is a gasp, but that I soon realize is a sob. Abigail cries against my shoulder, her arms tightening like a vice. I don't ever want to let her go. I hold her as tightly as I can while her body is racked with sobs. Her breath and tears are warm, almost painfully hot. The thin lace of my new outfit does little to inhibit them.
I'm so sorry that all of this is happening. I'm sorry.
Gently, I find her hands and take them in mine. I squeeze them, trying to impart the same kind of solace that she gives to me.
It's okay. Really. I'm happy things turned out this way. I'm glad that I met you, no matter the circumstances.
Her cries get stronger, and I drop on her hands in order to brush her hair back from her tear-stained face. We hold each other tightly until she's able to calm down. Meanwhile, the fairies still continue to circle overhead, although they remain respectfully silent. Finally, Abigail heaves a steady breath and steps back just a little bit.
I'm sorry again. It was just that seeing you there with the fairy light. I mean, you looked beautiful. You still do. More than beautiful. But it made me again realize everything that you've gone through. Everything I've put you through.
I press a finger to her lips. She looks up at me, surprised replacing the sadness.
It's okay. I'd go through all of it again to end up here with you. I mean it.
Abigail sniffles heavily, and I can tell that she's trying not to cry again.
You can make it up to me by getting out of all of this with me.
She nods.
That sounds more like a gift to me than the other way around. But I'll keep being selfish and take it.
Good. I want you to be selfish.
We kiss quickly and briefly, and then separate. I look up at the fairies above me, who are glad to be noticed again.
Thank you for saving me like this. I owe you my life.
Somehow I've ended up owing my life to way more people than I ever expected to.
You have 3 days to keep it. That's right! You're running out of time! We can't wait much longer!
I know. I'll find a queen for you.
I know that won't be as easy as I make it sound. After meeting some of the Eisenfeld locals, I don't get the impression that any of them would be interested in the offer. Still, I have 3 days to figure it out.
We'll be waiting. We know we'll see you again. With a new queen or not.
The ritual finished, the fairies quickly dispersed back into the trees. I'm glad there's no more ceremony or ritual to go along with my transformation. Alone with Abigail once more, I head to the shore of the pond so I can finally get a full glimpse of myself. I can barely recognize my own reflection. The girl staring back at me from beneath the water looks much more suited to the position of a queen than I expected. She looks calm and confident, like she's unafraid of whatever happens next. I hope I'm just not fooling myself. I turn this way and that, admiring my new outfit. Atop my head, the flower crown the fairies gave me fits comfortably. I wonder if it's meant to tempt me into staying. Abigail moves closer, peering into the water with me. Our reflections next to each other serve as a visible reminder as to why I can't stay. As comfortable and satisfying as this newfound gift is, I have no desire to keep it at the cost of our freedom. I'll get us out of this.
Are you ready to go?
I am.
Okay. First things first, we need to get in touch with Morgan and Tara. They probably know more about the mayor than we do.
It also set my mind at ease a lot. There's so much that I need to say to Tara. If I spent all 3 of our days just talking to her, that still wouldn't be enough time.
How will we do that? Going into the village would be far too dangerous.
We don't have to. We just have to get to the cabin.
I flex my fingers, still acutely aware of the magical tingling.
And that's easy like this.
Abigail runs her fingers over mine, her skin angelically soft like always.
All right. I trust you.
I curl my fingers, squeezing her hand again.
Thank you. Speaking of which, there's something I think we should do.
I pause a moment while she waits expectantly. Much like the way my coronation just ended, what I'm about to say seems unceremonious.
I think I can return us to the physical plane, too. Both of us.
It takes a second for the implication to sink in, for Abigail's eyes grow wide as saucers.
Madison! Are you sure?
Her hand clutches her heart.
Yeah. I can't explain how I know, but I just do. There's a lot of stuff that I can do now. But that way, you'll be able to talk with Morgan and Tara too. And I know that we'll need all the help we can get at the end.
I keep banishing thoughts of what that end will be, because there's only one way that this can end, putting a stop to Evelyn once and for all. I don't need that way in my mind along with everything else right now.
I understand. You know that I wouldn't just abandon you, Madison.
I know.
Abigail takes a deep breath, steadying herself.
Okay. I'm ready.
Silently, I step forward, taking her other hand in mine as well. I close my eyes and bow my head, and I feel her do the same. I can feel the magic course through me and out of me, spraying like vines from my fingers. It fixed both me and her, taking our very forms and rebinding them to the mortal plane where they belong. I can feel Abigail tense up and hear her breathing getting shallow. Still, I keep my eyes closed, willing that magic to continue working. It obeys my whims effortlessly. And then, after a minute that feels like an hour, the flow of magic slows and then stops. I open my eyes. Abigail is still there, her hands warm in mine. Her eyes slowly open as well, meeting mine. This close together, I can feel her breath warm against my face.
How do you feel?
Probably cold, I'd imagine. A light breeze blows through. For the first time in 200 years, Abigail's gown sways in the wind.
It's cold.
She says and laughs, pressing herself even more tightly against me. Abigail shivers. Her teeth begin chattering within seconds of her transformation. Despite how poofy it is, her gown really isn't very warm at all. Fortunately, the chill doesn't bother me. It wouldn't make sense for a fairy queen to be susceptible to the cold. But taking care of Abigail is a pressing matter.
Let's go to the cabin. I can get us there quickly.
She just nods, wrapping her fingers tightly around herself. I hug her tightly as well and access magic once again. This time I'll use it to transport us across the forest, to its very boundary where the cabin is, and where my powers stop being useful. Since the cabin and village are technically outside the bounds of the forest, once I step past the trees, I'll just be a regular ghost again, at least until I go back into the forest. So I can't get too far away. If Evelyn were to find out where we are or makes a move against us, I'd be powerless to stop her. Better to not even give her the opportunity. Still, the transportation is smooth. It doesn't even feel like we move. Instead, we close our eyes in the fairy clearing, and when we open them again, the cabin is just in front of us. Seeing it again strikes a pain in my heart. It feels like forever ago. I guess technically it was a lifetime ago. There's no time to get sentimental, though. Not when Abigail's like this, and instead we hurry to the front door. Miraculously, the door is unlocked. I guess Morgan and Tara had more important things to worry about than locking up the last time they were here. We rush inside, and I turn on both the lights and the heater. As warm air cranks out, Abigail's relief is palpable and immediate. She settles down to one of the chairs, comfiness outweighing even her curiosity for just a moment.
Better?
Much.
She luxuriates in the feeling, eyes closed in bliss. Her fingers absentmindedly scrape the soft cushion of the couch, which she presses her back into.
It's so soft.
Then she leaps to her feet, zooming towards the kitchen. She drags her fingers along every different surface as she goes, stopping to examine most of them. She rubs the edge of the counter.
Madison, it's so smooth and cold.
At the sink, she examines the faucets intently before spinning one of them. Cold water pours out over her hands and she yelps in shock, but quickly grins.
Madison, it's like a river.
Then she reaches the heater, which is pretty much keeping her alive right now. Like a cat, she basks in front of it, relishing the warmth. Each sensation seems to bring her immeasurable joy. For me, it had been a couple weeks. For Abigail, it had been 200 years without feeling warmth or cold or textures. I watched fondly. I wish we had more time to enjoy ourselves. More time to show her modern things like films. I might remind myself that I can't think like that. We just don't have the time yet. We just have to get through this. Then we will have all the time in the world.
I'm going to get you some warmer clothes. I'll be right back.
All right.
She's still plopped in front of the heater, closer than I would have thought is comfortable. Smiling, I head into what had once been my bedroom. It's been rearranged a bit. My suitcase has been shoved to one corner, forgotten. My laptop sits atop my bed, although most of the video gear is missing. Tara and Morgan must have taken it with them when they left. Good thinking. I start booting my laptop while I roll the suitcase to my bed and start sifting through my clothes. After everything I've been through, the actions feel so mundane that I have to give myself a second just to let it all sink in. Everything's been moving so fast since that night Abigail and I kissed by the water. There's hardly been a chance to breathe. Still, being back on familiar territory with familiar comforts is reassuring. It makes me feel like a human again. Something as simple as being able to push a button on my computer and watch it respond is a little miracle that I don't think I'll take for granted again. Getting used to the necessities of normal life, like eating and sleeping, will Definitely takes some time, though. Same with keeping warm. Unfortunately for Abigail, my clothes are the only option she has. They won't fit her as well, but they should be better than that nightgown she's been wearing for so long. I complete the outfit with a cute hat. I hope she likes it.
Here you go. They're not the best fit, but they should at least keep you warm.
Abigail hurries over and reverently takes the bundle from me.
Are these your clothes?
Yeah, they are. I hope that's okay.
She holds the bundle to her chest.
I'll treasure them.
I show her to the bathroom and also explain how everything works. I have to admire her restraint, just accepting everything modern in stride. It isn't too long before she emerges once again. She pulls her arms wide, the cloth hanging a little loosely from her in parts, but she's smiling.
How do I look?
Now that is a cute hat.
Gorgeous.
That's the word I managed to stammer out, though there's a whole slew of them that would work. Call me biased, but I think my clothes look better on her than on me. Giggling, she does a slow spin, showing off more.
The person who chose them has wonderful taste.
Abigail gets comfortable in the living room while I grab my laptop from the bed. I sit down beside her, turning it so she can see.
This is a computer. It can do a ton of things, but it also lets people talk via long distances.
Why are you saying it like that? Why are you treating her like she's an idiot? Damn, Maddie.
And that's how you're going to contact Tara?
Right.
Abigail watches with rapt attention as I open a browser and wait for the painfully slow internet to load my email.
There are so many different pictures and words. Don't you ever lose track of where you are?
Not really. You get used to it.
Surely you're being modest. I imagine very few people could operate one of these.
I love her. The little hearts.
I wish. But really, most people have one of their own. Or even more than one. They're a really common part of everyday life.
I see. In that case, you'll have to teach me.
Definitely. For now, though, I'm going to send that message.
How will it be transported?
It's,
Magic. I try to think of how to explain this. Then I realize I have the perfect analogy.
You know how the forest is all totally connected? Like, how you can sense all the different parts of it?
Abigail nods and slowly her face gets pale.
Medicine. Don't tell me that modern people are connected in the same way.
I can't help it. I burst out laughing. Indignantly, she waits for me to finish. It takes me past the point of having tears in my eyes before I do.
I can see that I was wrong.
She pretends to pout, though I can see in her eyes that she's just playing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just that you look so horrified.
She laughs too.
Well, imagine how I feel. Apparently nothing is impossible anymore, so I simply have to assume the worst.
She stumbles against me, pressing her cheek against my shoulder to show that she's only pretending to be upset.
So, go on. Do explain it then.
It's not the people who are connected, but the machines. If you have a computer, you can send a message instantly to any other computer in the world. It's more complicated than that, but that's the easy way to put it.
I see. So you're going to send a message to Tara's computer?
Right. I'm going to tell her to come and meet us here. I hope she'll believe it's me.
I'm sure that she'll know, somehow.
I nod, entering Tara's email address into the field. It feels absurdly formal to be sending an email of all things to get in touch with her. I don't think we've ever had an email conversation in our lives. I leave the subject line blank. Anything I could put there would feel comical. I don't really know how to word the rest of this message, so I don't think about it. I just put my fingers to the keys and start to type. Dear Tara, I know this is going to sound kind of hard to believe. Uh-huh. Had to have you dwell on it for a bit, huh? I'm acquainting Abby with modern technology when the sound of loud voices from outside interrupts me mid-sentence. Well, one very obnoxiously loud voice. I only know one person who can make a racket like that. I grab Abigail's hand and lead her around the living room just in time to hear Tara and Morgan reach the door.
Tara, stop for a second. We don't know for sure this isn't a trap.
Yeah, but what if it's not? I can't take that chance. I'm going in.
Tara, wait!
The door flies open so hard it bangs against the wall. Tara freezes in the doorway, probably not expecting me to be right here. Or maybe even here at all.
Hey.
Everything I had rehearsed and planned to say in my head is forgotten in an instant. Somehow this feels more unreal than anything else so far. I never had time to doubt any of the stuff that's happened to me. I had plenty of time to doubt that I'd see Tara again. Tara's mouth flaps up and down like a nutcracker statue. I don't think she forms a single coherent word. Morgan approaches from behind and places a protective hand on Tara's shoulder, which seems to reset her. She rubs her eyes as she stares at me. Either she doesn't believe what she's seeing, or she's about to cry. Maybe both.
You've changed your look a little bit, huh?
When she finally speaks, her voice shakes like crazy.
You like it?
Tara gives me a slight nod.
It makes you look like a total nerd.
Without another word, she bursts into tears. She doesn't even hesitate a moment before bounding forward like an excited, tear-stained racing dog. I've spent so long worrying about her that seeing her safe and sound in the flesh is almost too much to handle. There's so many things that we left unsaid or unresolved. I'm just glad that there's time to fix that now.
I thought you were dead.
Me too.
We both burst into laughter, still punctuated with sobs. But at least we both have the clarity of mind to tell that this hug has gone on for way too long. We split apart. She has a big dumb grin on her big dumb face.
Welcome back, Mads.
Good to be back, Tara.
A hearty reunion over, Morgan finally steps forward, taking Tara's hand in her own. She smiles at me, her expression soft for once.
Hey, Maddie. It's good to see you again.
Her voice is as calm as ever, but the wide, genuine smile on her face telling us that these last couple weeks have changed her as much as they changed me.
You too, Morgan.
I feel like I should say something more than that, but I know neither of us is much for words. It's nice to have someone else around who feels the same way for once.
Before anything else, there's someone I'd like to introduce you to.
I turn to gesture for Abigail, but at first she's nowhere to be seen. Then I spot a familiar flash of pink and purple lingering by my bedroom door. Right. We spent so long together that I'd forgotten how timid she was when we first met. Her eyes are wide as she wrings her hands, looking from me to Tara and back. Tara and Morgan look just as shocked once they notice her. I hurry to where Abigail is and take her hand.
They're okay. I promise.
She nods, letting herself be led into the living room.
Tara, Morgan, I'd like you to meet Abigail.
I pause for a moment.
She's my girlfriend.
Whoa, we do have a lot to catch up on.
She turns to face Abigail.
I'm Tara. I've been friends with Maddie for forever.
It's nice to finally meet you, Tara. I've heard a lot about you.
Hell yeah! All good things, I hope?
Oh no.
Mostly.
I'll take it.
Morgan steps forward too.
Morgan, nice to meet you.
Abigail nods politely.
You as well.
So, let's sit down. We've got a lot of catching up to do and not a whole lot of time to do it.
The four of us move to the couch and sit down. Right as we do, though, there's a loud grumble from beside me. Oh, excuse me, there's a loud grumble in my throat. Abigail clutches her stomach, looking absolutely mortified.
What was that? What's happening?
Oh, yeah. We should probably eat something.
Eat.
Her eyes light up.
That's right. I'm hungry.
Morgan and Tara look baffled. I can't blame them for that one.
Like I said, long story. Is there anything to eat? It's been a long time since either of us have had a meal.
I'll make us some breakfast. Cross your fingers for pancake mix. Anyway, I think that's everything.
Minus the really juicy stuff, anyway.
I'm okay with not hearing about that. Thanks.
Abigail, now finally finished with her meal, wraps her arm around mine and rests her head against me. Morgan sighs and sends Tara and me a meaningful look. She rises and clears her throat.
Abigail, would you mind coming with me for a minute?
Morgan's voice carries a more serious tone that feels like a sudden departure from our lighthearted reminiscing. I knew it couldn't last forever, but I'm hopeful we can return to it soon.
Is something wrong?
No, not at all. But there's something we need to talk about. And besides...
She looks at Tara, then over to me. Her tone might be serious, but her soft expression makes it clear she's not about to deliver any bad news.
These two might need a bit of privacy.
I nod at her as Abigail lets go of my arm. With a quick kiss on the cheek, she stands and walks to Morgan's side. The two of them head towards the bedrooms, leaving Tara and I to stare at each other in silence. Oh, those pained expressions on both of your faces right now. We look away from each other awkwardly as I try to think of what to say. Should I speak first? Should I wait for her? What do I say? She knows how much I missed her, but there was so much tension between us before I died. I never had a chance to apologize for hiding Abigail or for how I handled telling her I was going to quit. I take a deep breath and raise my head. I just need to go for it. I spent enough time waiting to speak. Whatever happens, happens.
I'm sorry.
I shouldn't have.
It was really shitty of me to...
I just.
We both slam our mouths shut again. Tara's face reddens and she chuckles softly.
Maybe we should take turns.
As long as you don't mind going first.
She takes a long, overly dramatic breath and closes her eyes.
I know I was shitty to you about leaving. I should have listened to you and accepted it instead of being all bitter and passive-aggressive. And I know I was even shittier once we got evidence. I shouldn't have frozen you out like that.
Maybe a bad choice of words there, Tara.
I mean, I shouldn't have ignored you the way I did. I want you to be a part of Terranormal. I really do. Trying to exclude you was stupid and impulsive.
She looks me right in the eyes, and I can tell that all her typical bravado is gone. This is pure, naked honesty. It's hard enough for me to manage something like that, much less her. She's really put her heart into this, and I'm more than grateful for that.
When all of this is over, whatever you decide to do, I won't stand in your way. You know I always want you to be a part of Terranormal, but you gotta be your own person. And you're my best friend. Thinking I might have lost you forever made me realize I honestly have no idea what I'd do without you. I give you a lot of shit, but I really do love you. I'm so sorry this all happened because I was too much of a screw-up to remember that.
Tara exhales and slumps back in her chair as if the act of apologizing drained all the energy in her body. She's grown so much in the short time we've been here. Then again, so have I. I need to make sure I show her the same sincerity in return.
I'm sorry too, Tara. Even if I was mad, I shouldn't have hidden Abigail from you. It made things worse for both of us. And it drove us apart when we should have been getting closer than ever. But more than that, I shouldn't have set this whole thing into motion the way I did.
The memory of our fight back home is painful, but I can't keep trying to run away instead of dealing with it head on. It's not fair to either of us.
I should have told you I was thinking about leaving and why I was thinking it. I should have talked things over with you instead of dropping the bomb on you right before we left. When I thought I was going to be stuck here forever, I realized you were the person I'd miss more than anyone else. Even more than my family. I don't know what I'm going to do when we get back. I still have a lot to figure out. But I do know that whatever happens, we'll always be best friends.
Mads, hi.
As she struggles to think of what to say next, I gently put my arms around her in a reassuring hug. We've said enough for now. She hugs back, squeezing a bit too hard. We stay that way until it starts to get awkward, as hugs between us tend to do. I pull away and sit back down, a bit embarrassed.
So, are we good?
I let out a deep breath, releasing the anxiety that had been twisting my stomach in knots. Whatever happens next, I know it'll be easier without that dragging me down.
Yeah. I think we're good.
Are we good enough for me to start calling you the ghost with the most?
The ghostess with the mostess?
Don't push it.
Oh. Meanwhile, I end up bringing Abigail into Tara's room. The two of us carefully step over the pile of clothes on the floor to sit on the bed. She bounces on a few times. I don't think she's used to springs.
Having fun?
How do you people sleep in these? Aren't you afraid of just bouncing out of bed?
It's not that bouncy. It's just comfortable.
I suppose tomorrow I can let you know if I agree. So, what is it you wanted to talk about?
It's
hard to put into words. No matter what I've been preparing myself for, a conversation like this wasn't part of it.
It's about family.
It's about family, son.
Our family.
Oh yeah, I guess they would be related, huh?
You're a Dulcing as well?
I'm a Fisher, actually. But a change in last name doesn't change the fact that we're part of the same family.
At first, I couldn't believe it. When May and Abigail were telling their story, I thought there must have been some sort of misunderstanding or that I'd heard it wrong. But the details all matched up. Not just with what Evelyn told me over the years she tried to break my spirit, but with the notes and journals left behind by those before me.
So she hasn't changed after all these years. It's still us.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be next. There isn't anyone else. No siblings or aunts or uncles. Just me and her.
She makes a sound of sympathy and moves closer to me on the bed, touching my shoulder gently. I tense up, almost shaking hard enough to shrug her off, but she remains. I don't want to be that person anymore. The one afraid to let anyone close, physically or emotionally.
I'm sorry.
I just nod. I can tell she doesn't know what to say either, and that's
Do you
fine.
mind if I ask you something?
Sure.
Why didn't you leave? Back in my time, it wasn't even a possibility. There was no way I could have escaped. We wouldn't have gotten very far if we'd tried. But now, Madison's told me about all sorts of fantastic machines and devices. Surely you could have gone.
I shrug. Of course I considered it. Dreamed about even. But there's no way she could know that. And besides...
I thought about running away many times. I thought of a lot of different ways to make sure she couldn't hurt me anymore. But the same thing stopped me every time. She wouldn't just give up because I'm not around. She'd find someone else, just like she always has. And they'd die instead.
I embrace her to tell me that's ridiculous and that I should put myself first. Or to burst into tears at the very notion. Instead, she laughs. It's not a happy laugh, though.
I see. I understand. Truly. I chose to die for someone else's sake as well. Someone I cared about very deeply.
She sighs wistfully, remembering days long gone. I can't help but smile the same way that she laughed.
I see I'm just carrying on the family tradition then.
Let's make sure it ends with you.
I nod. It will. One way or another.
I am glad, though, to know that her family turned out to have people as wonderful as you.
I'm really not anything that special.
I disagree. Not just anyone could have done what you have.
She leans forward, wrapping her arms around me in a gentle hug. This time I don't hesitate. I hug her back. Family. It's never been a word that really meant much to me. All I've ever had was the monster in my home. Now, though, I realize that's no longer the case. We separate and I gesture towards the door. She nods. Together, we leave the room and rejoin the rest of our family. Aw. That was a cute little interlude. Abigail and Morgan come out of Tara's room and join us, both smiling. I'll have to ask her what they talked about later tonight. But right now, I'm just enjoying the moment. I feel more peace than at any time since arriving in Eisenfeld. Even during the sweetest moments with Abigail, there is still a lingering bleakness of being a ghost. Now, despite the threat of Evelyn, it feels like there's a chance of everything turning out well. As we talk, Morgan's cat comes and hops up on my lap. I would expect her to take to Abigail, not me. I scratch behind her ears and she leans into the motion, purring contentedly. Tara notices and sits up straight.
Wait a sec. Mads, I just realized. But you haven't met Gelidura yet, right?
I have. Back in the shop, right after we arrived. Remember?
No, I mean like, met her. Morgan was right. She really can talk.
She can.
I can.
The cat looks up from my lap, staring into my eyes. Her tail switches lazily.
If I feel like it.
Then why didn't you sooner?
Is the first question that comes to mind. Gelidura closes her eyes. After a moment, I start to think that she's fallen asleep, but then she opens them once more.
I didn't feel like it.
I look over at Morgan, sitting across from me.
I guess I owe you an apology.
It's fine. She certainly didn't make it easy to believe.
Gelidura stands up, her tail lashing as she strides over to drape herself across Abigail. In response, Abigail strokes Gelidura's fur, looking almost as gleeful as when we had our first meal.
I didn't know if I could trust you. Now I know.
I leave the two of them to their cooing and cuddling and walk over to the front window, peering outside. How many times have I stared at the stars these past few nights? Abigail taught me a few constellations, but tonight, it looks like an entirely different sky. I rest my head against the window pane, soaking in the starlight and calm.
Hey, by the way, you said you only came into the village that one time, right?
Yeah, we didn't want to risk it any more than that. Not with how close we came to Evelyn.
Makes sense. You, didn't see anything embarrassing when you were spying on us, right?
We weren't spying. Or at least we weren't trying to. But no, thank God.
Oh, phew. For real though, after this is over, but before we leave, you've got to show us some of the cool spots in the forest.
Sure, that'd be fun. Actually, do you want to go right now?
Oh, wait, for real?
That was so That was so genuine. Like, wait, really?
I can show you the fairy clearing at least. That's our favorite spot.
How long a walk is it? It's getting kind of late.
Oh, we wouldn't need to walk.
Tara's face slowly morphs from puzzlement to excitement as she realizes what I'm suggesting.
You mean like magic?
I nod.
Oh, hell yeah!
Her enthusiasm startles Gelidura, who hops up and runs away. Abigail gestures in vain for her to come back.
You two up for a field trip?
She is so mad.
Sure.
Gelidura traipses back in, returning to Abigail's feet. Abigail perks up immediately.
Would you like to come with us, Miss Gelidura?
I suppose so. carry me.
Abigail gladly obliges. I lead everyone outside into the tree line, just in case there's anyone watching. I gather everyone into a circle, and the four of us lock hands while Gelidura perches on Abigail's neck.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
The forest greets me, and I respond in kind. It shows its way to its heart, to the lake. I hold Abigail and Tara's hands tightly and breathe the softest sigh. I thank the forest. Then, open my eyes, and we're here. As soon as we arrive, I can feel the presence of the fairies in my mind. They're instantly aware of where we are, and I send them all a mental greeting, which is returned right away. Gelidura slicks her ears back, and her tail begins to lash harder than before. I wonder if she can feel magic too. Before I can ask, Tara whistles in awe.
Dang, Mads. You really leveled up, huh?
I put all my skill points into magic.
Even Morgan looks dumbstruck. Something I'm not used to from her. She tilts her head back, staring in open-mouthed wonder at the glimmering trees and fairy lights.
What is this place? Are we really still in the forest?
Yes, it's a very special grove. It was one of the first places I brought Madison. We came back here many times.
It definitely feels magical. Oh, damn it. I should have brought my camera.
We all head down to the pond. Tara and Morgan gawk at its unfrozen waters, the same way I did when I first saw it. I feel a strange sense of pride seeing them so excited about this place. A loud buzzing suddenly fills the air. Before I can warn Tara and Morgan what's about to happen, the fairies burst forth from the trees. Tara yelps in shock as they pass over her, wings beating noisily.
Your Majesty! You're back! You've returned!
Hello, you 3.
It's nice to be greeted so enthusiastically, even if I didn't exactly want to be queen. I wave, expecting 3 of them to come to me right away. But to my surprise, the fairies sail right past me and flock around Abigail instead. Oh, Gelidura's the, old queen, isn't she?
Our queen!
Gelidura hisses as Abigail shrinks back, looking afraid.
I'm not your queen. She's over there.
Abigail tries to point to me, but the fairies ignore her.
No, you're not. We know you aren't. It isn't you!
One of them reaches for Gelidura, and she swats at the fairies with one paw, just like Abigail did when we first encountered them. The fairies react with shocked indignance, their mouths open in identical shapes of puzzlement. They abandon verbal communication, instead emanate a wave of questioning curiosity. Though I can feel it, it's not directed at me. By listening, or rather by feeling, I realize who they're communicating with. Gelidura.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Just to be sure I'm right, I communicate a request for confirmation. Despite her discomfort, Gelidura turns to me from Abigail's arms, blinking languidly.
Yes, that's right.
Now I'm the one whose jaw drops in shock.
Care to fill us in, Mads?
Cat? Gelidura? Fairy Queen.
Everyone is silent for a moment, even the fairies. Then Abigail clears her throat.
Does that mean I should set you down then?
No, this is fine.
Wait a second. A little sea of hope blooms instantly within my heart. The fairies answer my question before I can even think it. The sea of hope withers and dies in response.
Maddie?
I close my eyes tightly. I see Gelidura in my mind's eye, and the rest of the world fades away as I speak to her. Once again, the fabrics of time tear and disappear. The fairies guide our voices. Gelidura can't be Fairy Queen. Not anymore. Not after what the Moonsick one did to her. Evelyn. The last pieces of the puzzle fall into place. I see it clearly. Evelyn, the rogue fairy, burning under the moonlight. The Fairy Queen ritual gone wrong. Gelidura running after Evelyn. And then disappearing. Without realizing it, I've reached out for Gelidura. Stroking her fur, the fairies and I communicate with the heart of the woods. to free her and restore her rightful place on the throne. The woods ushers forth its strength. The fairies conglomerate around us, the buzzing increasing frequency until it's a dull hum. I reach within myself. The waxing moon basks the scene, and I gather its light into a pool of my hands. Reaching out, I feel the magic on Gelidura begin to vibrate violently. It burns to the touch. Gelidura yowls in pain, and all at once the magic shatters and melts away. With a gasp, I'm back to the present. Abigail reaches over to catch me, and the effects of time return. Their interest in the obsolete queen waning, the fairies clump back up and get ready to depart.
We'll see you again soon. When the moon is at its brightest. One way or another.
With that cheerful reminder, they take off, fading out of sight. I separate their thoughts from my own and push them away.
Madison, what happened?
I take a deep breath and steady myself. Abigail scoops the pained Gelidura into her arms, petting and cooing.
It's a long story. I'll tell you later. Gelidura, are you alright?
Yes. It was foolish to think you, new Spring Queen, could dispel such a powerful curse on a waxing moon.
Gelidura turns away and grooms herself. I feel a rush of guilt. Terra touches my arm slightly.
You okay, Mads?
Yeah, I'm fine.
She grins and pats my back. Trying to ease the mood, she stretches wide and lets out a huge, nervous laugh.
Oh, good. Well, that wasn't like anything I expected. The fairies, especially.
What did you think they'd be like?
I have no idea. But it definitely didn't involve your cat being a queen.
I would have gotten you the nicer cat food if I'd known.
Yo, Gelato, how come you never told us you were a fairy queen?
God damn it. Gelidura doesn't even deign to look at Terra.
You never asked.
As soon as we arrive back at the cabin, Abigail makes a mad dash toward the couch and flops down on it with a loud thud. I'm a little surprised by how quickly she covers the distance. Gelidura leaves her arms and trots over to the kitchen, immediately sticking her face in her food bowl.
Oh, my feet.
Are they sore? I can imagine walking around again after so long might be a bit draining.
No, it's not that. It's these boots.
Abigail kicks off her boots and sends them flying, eliciting a yelp of surprise from Terra as one of the boots nearly hits her dead on.
Your feet are bigger than mine. Do you have any idea what it feels like to get snow in your boots for the first time in 200 years?
The three of us shudder in unison at the thought. Terra takes another step away from the boot as if she's afraid of it infecting her with cold feet.
I can tell you right now that when we do go to America, I'm going to be spending the entirety of the winter months indoors.
I can't help grinning at her words. If it wasn't entirely serious, that's the first time I've heard her speak about our future together with that much certainty. I make my way to the couch and sit down beside her, putting my arm around her without a second thought. She leans against me, our bodies perfectly aligned. Aw.
When the summer months roll around, I am definitely taking you ladies to the beach.
Abigail instantly perks up at that, clasping her hands together and lean towards Terra with a huge grin on her face.
Yes! Goodness! The sand, the sun. I'd love to see the ocean.
Morgan seems a little less enthusiastic about the prospect of the beach. Her expression more of her face an expression more of concern than excitement.
If we go to the beach, I'm going to end up looking like a lobster.
Yeah, but you'd be a really hot lobster.
I try as hard as I can to suppress a groan, but Morgan and Abigail both chuckle. Abigail I can understand, but the fact that Morgan genuinely finds this kind of thing endearing is baffling.
Thanks, babe. So, Abigail, what's the most interesting invention you've seen since you came back?
I suppose... I haven't seen much of it, but the internet seems like a wonderful tool. I love the idea of being connected and sharing thoughts, feelings, and creativity with everyone around the world.
My girl! There isn't a single person more qualified to teach you about the internet than I am. We are gonna have a blast.
Oh no, don't do it. She's gonna show you stuff like Reddit.
There is no way I'm going to let you be the one to show her around the web. You get into enough trouble on your own.
But Madison, doesn't Tara perform on the internet? I assume that means she's very knowledgeable
no.
about its workings.
Oh, excuse me, 1 second. Okay, had a little sneeze creep up on me. Tara raises an eyebrow and leans down to place her hands on the table, staring closely at Abigail.
So Mads told you about Terranormal, huh?
Oh no.
She told me some things. I know you tell stories about supernatural occurrences and that you take them very seriously, even when they're quite obviously untrue.
Did she now?
Sweetie, maybe we shouldn't.
And she told me that people all over the world enjoy watching you. It sounds like you must be an incredible storyteller.
Nice save.
Tara breaks into the same massive grin she always puts on when she knows she's found a new audience.
You don't know the half of it, Abby. I've got a million of them.
I roll my eyes and lean back against the couch. Abigail just moves closer, ready to hear whatever Tara's going to say next. Just looking at her feels healing. If listening to Tara's stories makes her happy, then Tara can tell as many stories as she wants. Not that I'd ever tell Tara that, of course. One story turns to another. Morgan and I will chime in with a correction every now and then, but we mostly let Tara work her magic. Abigail keeps asking questions, and Tara keeps eating them up. If Morgan's anything like me, she must enjoy seeing the girl she loves acting so happy. I know I am. I don't know what's going to happen after this. We're still in danger, we still don't have a way out. But that doesn't mean we can't enjoy our time together. All of us. I just wish I could shake the feeling that this is the last time we'll have this chance. We stay like that for a while. Telling stories, making jokes, and most importantly, talking about our future. Whether it happens or not, talking about it puts all of us at ease. We talk about sharing technology with Abigail, getting her and Morgan new wardrobes, where we're going to go on dates when we get back. In those moments, it all feels real. Like we're remembering moments that haven't happened yet. Eventually, the sun begins to dip below the horizon. We have another huge meal to Abigail's delight. Afterwards, Tara tells her even more stories as Morgan and I clean up after them. I'm not sure if the four of us are going to stay in one apartment for long when we get back, but I think I'd really enjoy being around Tara and Morgan. Not as much as I enjoy being around Abigail, of course, but enough enjoyment to make me want to stick with them. In time, Abigail starts to yawn and blink wearily as Tara talks. She hasn't had a chance to sleep since she got her body back, so she's no doubt unprepared for the strength of the bodies need to rest. When the sun finally sets, we say our goodbyes and head for our room. I'm already looking forward to tomorrow. Okay. Much as I want to keep going, it is that time. And it is getting late. So we do gotta call it here, I'm afraid. But that's cute. Like, it definitely like started off a lot more dire than I expected it to, but I'm a sucker for like the wholesome moments like this. I love like when I think what I kind of like about this is it's kind of nice to kind of see the relationship after it's formed, as opposed to like being like, oh hey, they're starting to date and that's it. It's kind of nice to see like the development of like how their lives change once the characters start like dating and interacting with each other. And I'm gonna have to wait until next week to play again. Well, I technically don't have to, but I'm going to because we're doing Women Wednesday. We're staying consistent about it. I swear, it's gonna happen. But for now, I definitely am gonna call it. Don't think I'm gonna raid tonight because it is late and I am sleepy, so I'm probably... Yeah, I won't worry about raiding tonight. I'm just gonna end it. But I appreciate everybody who stopped by, even people who just lurked and all that. More Women Wednesday next week for sure, though. I'll probably actually make a schedule next week, too. Like, I've been in kind of a weird headspace the past month, but I'm getting out of it slowly. But for now... Oh, exactly, Ensign. But yeah, no, I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate everybody who like stopped by if you just lurked for a little bit. And yeah, I'm just gonna go wrap up and get ready for bed before I have to plunge into work tomorrow. But yeah, have a good night, have a good evening, good time zone, wherever it is, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.